What's going on, guys? Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Wrenched Out Experiment. I'm Anthony, and today we're going to be working on the 2017 Camaro SS, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so thanks for tuning in. As you know, one of our Wrenched Out Garage projects is the 2017 Camaro. So one of the things that we wanted to add to the Camaro is a decal. We looked all over the internet and we found, obviously, GM's got some, or Chevy. There's a lot of other guys that got one, but we found one that we want to go with, and that's kind of the traditional hash marks off the front fender. And this is the one that we got, and we got this from Phoenix. I'll put the link to these guys' website. And this is essentially how it comes in. You can pick this up from their website. Jags also sells it. A couple other guys sell their products as well. Again, the links will be below if you're interested in this. This was $49.99 without shipping. Here in Alaska, shipping's expensive. It's actually on back order. And we're going to go ahead and install this bad boy today. We got it in what's called Nightfall Gray. So obviously, if you're familiar with the paint on the new Camaros, this falls in suit with those. So let's cut this bad boy up and get ready for an install. Alright, so before we actually cut it, a few things to note. You do need to prep your area that you're going to put the decal on. I already prepped it, it's cleaned off, and then I used alcohol, rubbing alcohol, just to make sure the surface is going to have the best possible bond. So I suggest if you're going to install any decal, to make sure, clean the surface thoroughly, hit it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just to make sure that whatever it is you're sticking to it has A, a clean surface, and B, the adhesive sticks and bonds to whatever it is you're hooking it with. So as I said earlier, we're going to go ahead and cut this out as best as we can. And then there are two methods to install this, just to make sure you guys understand. There's the dry method, which is essentially cutting it apart, finding your placement while it's dry, and then placing it on. And then there's the wet method, which you use a tablespoon of liquid soap and about a gallon of water, give or take, and then you lightly mist the area, and that's so you can kind of place it. When you do the wet method, it does kind of prolong the adhesion process. However, the benefit to doing the wet method, or at least from my experience in installing decals in the past, is that you've got a little bit more versatility in placement, on movement, and then obviously smoothing out those bubbles and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and cut this guy apart, and we'll get the fender with some soapy water and we'll start the install. Alright guys, so we do have these bad boys trimmed down. One thing I would highly suggest if you're going to do any decal, that is to always dry fit it, to ensure that the decal's correct, and then you understand where and what the placement is going to be of the decal itself. So obviously this decal is going to ride right something about just like that. Now if you're doing a dry install, I would highly suggest you just getting some paint, or not paint, excuse me, some tape, taping it on, make sure everything looks right, because ultimately you have the adhesive side, which is right here, and then you've got the cover side, which is here. So the way we're going to do this again is a wet install, and I'm going to lightly mist it, pull this the adhesive backing off, kind of place it in, and then we're going to use our squeegee tool, which comes with this kit, and start working all of the bubbles and the creases and everything out of it. But I would highly suggest, like I said, kind of figuring out, okay, this is where it sits. Where does it sit on, especially with this one? You want to adjust it down just a hair so it sits just about perfect onto that. Oops. Onto the wheel, just like that. Okay, so we know that that looks good. already test fit the other side. The other side looks great. Yep. So we're gonna go get the soap and water, and then we're gonna just kind of, like I said, lightly mist it, and we'll get going here. All right, guys. So we have our soapy water, and I'm gonna kind of move this out of the way. The goal is not to get the back of the decal sopping wet by any means, so we're gonna try to just lightly kind of mist. Oops. Kind of do a test here. There we go. Kind of lightly mist the area that we're going to install. And obviously we're going to start on this side and kind of start working this one. So let me grab this and we'll get going. All right. So again, on this one, it's going to sit just about right there. Again, on this is going to sit just about like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. See if I can get this separated here. There we go. Oops. Bit more soap on it. Just so it moves around as best as we can get it. You don't want to overdo it, but you want it enough to where you can kind of manipulate. Push out some of that soap, and then it'll start adhering. Again, you want to make sure and try to keep this as dry as possible. I'm going to push out more of that soap. Keep working it. Alright guys, so check that bad boy out. It is still got a couple of really small bubbles in it, but we're going to let it sit outside for a little while just so the sun can help kind of treat it a little bit. I know that with some decals, with the sun, it kind of airs and pushes out or evaporates the adhesive in it. But we did let it sit for a little while. I did get the heat gun out and kind of spread it out a little bit, but it looks wonderful. I think it's a wicked addition to the Camaro, and there it is. So again, I'll put the links to this product. It was the best priced vinyl I found as far as hash marks go from a reputable company. The guys that make this make a bunch of other decals for muscle cars and many others, so make sure and check out the link below. And this is one of many more upgrades. So if this is your first time checking out the Wrenched Out Garage playlist, make sure hit that subscribe button on the end. As always, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all over the place. We appreciate it. Hopefully you guys like this install and some of our others. We do have a lot of other stuff going on outside of the Camaro. So make sure and check out some of our other videos. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, take care.